What is going
God.
on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the podcast. It's about that time, episode 11, Christmas edition, with Tanner's ugly ass face and our Christmas sweaters.
That's right.
That's right. We got Corgi on my chest, Theo on my bed. That sounded like a rap. Theo on my bed with his Christmas onesie, and then Tanner's basic ass Christmas sweater, right? All right, right.
Tanner,
What?
Tanner, why don't you show us your sweater?
Yeah, show it. Just show us the sweater, Tanner.
Come on, man.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Like stand up a little bit. Stand up a little bit, like I did.
Are you wearing pants? Is that it?
Is that fine? All right.
Wow.
Hey, those
That was-
snowflakes. Like they're drawn to
Why
be like
are they
snowflakes.
red? I don't.
Um,
So anything new happened in any of you guys' lives?
no.
No, absolutely nothing. We all live very boring lives.
Yeah.
Are you including yourself in that?
Yeah, I am. I mean, the only really exciting thing is that I got some new parts for my computer, and we're running the show
Yeah.
on 60 frames per second, and I
Oh.
can play my video games insanely.
Nice.
Yes.
Now you can join Phase.
I'm already on Phase, bro. Chill.
Oh.
So I actually have to tell you guys a real quick story. Real quick. So
Yeah.
this is, I'll say this was a while ago, super while ago. I was with this girl, and I'm hanging out at her house, right?
Yeah.
And the one thing I noticed is that her dog is really like malformed.
Oh.
Like-
what do you mean? Like describe it.
Like its eyes, it was blind. It was balding. You could see like the liver spots on it. Had bad arthritis. It couldn't walk properly or something. And I'm like, my God, how old is that dog? It looks like it's like 14, 15 years old. And she's like, she's 3 or he's 3. I'm like, that's not normal for a 3-year-old dog. That makes no sense. She's like, yeah, we found out at about a year ago that he was inbred,
Oh.
and being inbred fucks it up that much.
Jeez.
And I'm like, you should this dog needs to be put down.
It was like that bad.
It was that bad. Like this dog was struggling for its life. Each day it was praying to die.
Oh.
And then I get a snap a couple days later, and they put the dog down, and I felt so horrible. I thought it was my fault, and I'm like,
maybe they would have done it anyway.
no. I asked. I was like, is this my fault? Did I do this? Did I cause you guys to put this dog down? She's like, no. It was vomiting a bunch of black stuff, and usually when you vomit black, that means like it's internal bleeding or something.
Oh.
So they put it down, but I just find it so coincidental that it happened like 2 days after
You were the trigger for sure.
I told that dog to kill himself, and then he's just like, this is the only way. I know one way to get them to do it.
You won't.
I taunted him every day. Yeah, at night, I'm like, you better kill yourself, you stupid dog. You better fucking kill yourself. And he's just like, you're right, dog. You're right. And then it just kind of leads me to like think about like my own dog. Like, what would happen like if I see him like struggling?
Mm-hmm. Would you be strong enough to put him down?
I think I would have to. Like, it's I would try not to be selfish about it, and think about like, oh, I don't want him to leave me. But like every day I see him struggling to stay alive, or even not even be able to eat or something.
Oh my God, man.
Oh, okay. That kind of leads to the question: do you think euthanasia is appropriate, or is allowed, or should be kind of like legal?
I guess in that case that you just said,
We're not talking
it
about
was a
dogs.
good
We're just
thing.
saying.
Oh.
I'm not talking about dogs. It's already allowed for dogs and pets.
Oh.
Talking about
What is
Joe.
the current law? Is it illegal right now?
I think it's gray area.
Oh, like Bitcoin. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Yes, like Bitcoin. Tanner, I'll start with you.
Your question is whether I think that euthanasia should be legal.
Yeah, or like, what are your own personal thoughts
I
on
believe in
euthanasia?
the euthanasia, bro.
In
I
the
think
youth,
that
I believe in the youth.
I
I
believe
think
in them
that
too. They can do it.
They can, they provide innovation for all.
they made my sweater. I think that you should be able to
What? What? Explain it. What are you gesturing, Tanner? I'm not really following. Uh, our audio listeners can't actually see.
Yeah. Think
your
about our audio
gestures.
listeners. I'm sorry. That's my fault.
I think that you should be able to die if you want to die.
Okay.
I think you should be able to die if you don't want to. If you want to die, if you don't have some sort of mental illness that causes you to want to die.
Should we allow?
you are-
Should we allow healthy people to kill themselves?
If they, yeah, if they want to, if they're perfectly healthy and they understand what they're doing.
You know, it's a crime.
Yeah.
They might go to jail for that.
Well, I mean, isn't that what we're discussing right now? Whether they
Wait.
should be allowed to or not?
Is there a difference between euthanasia and suicide? Like, is
No,
euthanasia like I walk into a hospital and they do it
Some
for me?
euthanasia is like if your child is brain dead and
Uh-huh.
you have the right to say, hey, I'm gonna pull the plug on them.
Yeah, you can kill.
Yeah,
them.
usually euthanasia refers to like debilitating cases, right?
Yeah,
It's not like if I'm sad one day and I want to kill myself. That's not euthanasia.
yeah, no. I mean,
Euthanize yourself.
you go
Yeah,
to
like
the
what a
doctor.
way to say it, but sure.
You write that on your fucking suicide note. I have come to the decision to euthanize myself.
Like everyone feels sorry for me, and then when they get to that part in the note, they're like,
What? Okay.
It's fucking troll.
And then they see you like on the ceiling, and they're like, he did it. He did it.
"You're a man of his word."
I mean, I feel like even though it's like probably like I think suicide could be illegal. I feel like what's
Suicide is illegal.
suicide is
Is it?
badass. I mean, I just feel like you can't. What's the worst that can happen to you?
Well, if you survive this, hey, when people survive their suicide attempt, do they get jail time? Like,
That'd be so shitty.
I don't know. I think they get like mandatory some sort of probation or rehabilitation. Or
Yeah,
something
it's
like
it's
that.
definitely
Oh.
rehab. Like it's.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like they throw you in jail, unless like you did it with like a.
what are you in here for?
Have you guys ever thought about suicide?
I think we talked
No.
about. Oh no, we did not talk about that.
I don't think we talked.
I've thought about it. I mean, it's never like gotten to the point where Tanner, are you asleep?
No, just keep talking. Just keep talking.
I mean, I've never gotten to the point where I've wanted to like where I've been meaning to take action about it. But you know, sometimes you get like you just lay back, like Tanner, and then you're just like, what would happen if I just killed myself right now?
Yeah,
Out of
I
curi-
always think about it for like, oh, it's gonna sound effed up, but I think about it from a fun perspective, like an actor perspective. Like, if I had to kill myself and there was a camera watching me, like, how would I do it? How would
Okay,
I
that's kind of creepy.
Would you want to die in a
No.
theatrical way?
Oh, you start
No,
flailing
yeah,
around.
like just for the pure purpose of like entertaining people. Like, I wouldn't really.
I
do it.
would not ever. I don't think ever any suicide is really entertaining.
No, I mean, well, I'm sure there's some good movies out there with some good suicide.
Oh, in
scenes.
movies?
That are, like, beautiful. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, like movies.
Oh, so you're not talking about like actual suicide. You think like
Yeah,
at
so
the
when
end
I'm
of it,
thinking
you'll
about
come
it,
alive.
I'm thinking about like, how can I make this a good movie scene? I'm not thinking about doing it for.
So what is that way?
So you don't ever think about it in IRL for your real
No.
life.
Nope, I don't.
Never once in your life.
No, never.
Do you think
wanted
that
to kill
kind of
myself.
hinders you? I feel like that might
Why would
Oh,
that
it
hinder
hinders
him?
me?
because like I feel like you don't have that sort of
But
perspective. with
is
yourself.
suicide a superpower now?
No, I mean you give yourself a different perspective of yourself.
Mm.
So like
I feel
like
like I don't have to want to kill myself to like get that other perspective of myself. You know, I feel like that doesn't really make sense. I don't see it as a benefit or a pro.
I
If
mean
you've ever wanted to kill yourself one time.
I think you're able like you're once you see yourself at that like that sort of rock bottom, you can kind of like visualize it and kind of prevent it or learn from it and know like, hey, if I'm ever at this state, these are the steps I normally take to deal with
You
it.
could also argue that someone who's never been at that low point is like already better.
I mean,
know?
I could, but
Yeah.
I've always thought about that. I think we talked about this once with Tanner and someone else. I forgot.
Yeah.
But we were kind of shocked that they've never actually hit that low point or felt that desire to kill themselves.
Hmm.
Tanner, have you ever felt suicidal thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're kind of intrusive thoughts as well. Like you can't you can't. It's not like that. You're like one day, what should I think about today? Oh, killing myself. No, it's just kind of like just kind of pops in your head
Yeah.
if you're ever in like some sort of emotional state.
Yeah.
But I remember there was this one time in sixth grade, and I was failing pre-algebra, and I was
Ah.
like, oh my
You
god,
taking
dude, I can't
pre-algebra
go
in
back to
sixth
my
grade?
parents. Yeah.
So was I.
And then I was like, dude, I can't go back to my parents like this, dude. I'm Asian. I have to be good at math.
I gotta kill
And so I was like,
myself.
I honestly thought about like, fuck, dude,
Putting
I
a
can't go
samurai
home.
sword to your belly.
I was gonna do it with a pencil, actually.
Oh, really? That was your way?
It's gonna hurt, but it's
John
gonna.
Wick style.
It's the only way. It'd be a fitting suicide.
If the stab doesn't kill you, the lead will.
Yeah, I've actually stabbed myself with a lead pencil before.
I
It might have been granite, but yeah,
I think I might have stabbed my sister with a pencil before.
that's fucked up. Though.
Shit.
I think
bruh.
Are you
was-
homicidal?
No, she was sitting next to me, and
She was asking for it.
she like made like a really like she was being a brat, and I stabbed her like thigh
Like
with it.
impaled.
Oh, I mean,
like, went through.
It didn't like make blood, but like I guess like I wasn't strong enough to like pierce, other than like breaking her skin.
Okay, so you broke the skin,
But I did
nothing
not
more.
make blood, and I was just
Oh.
like, oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with me?
You questioned yourself.
Yeah, I was like,
Dang.
I'm like, why would I do that? That's just not right. You don't stab your sister.
You stab people that aren't your sister.
That's right. I stabbed multiple people
So everyone else is fair game.
with my other pencil. Oh,
Oh. All right.
all right. But would you say you've ever felt those suicidal thoughts when you were like kind of like older, when your brain is more established?
Yeah,
than,
but,
like a
besides
sixth
sixth
grader?
grade.
Yeah.
What would you say your most recent one, if you're willing to share that one?
mm,
If you're not, then the second most recent one.
Well, I don't know. I just think that like especially when you're feeling lonely or when you're feeling like depressed, I think that's when it hits you. When you're like, not really satisfied with where I am now. But I'm like at a point in my life where like if I ever feel like I'm at a point where I don't think that I'm like satisfied with where I am and I don't think that I could make better of the current situation, I know that I wouldn't kill myself. I know that I'd
Just tough it out.
I just not even like if I knew that I couldn't make better of it or I had like no hope for it, I would just start somewhere else new. Like I'd just go somewhere else. Because
Do you think you could ever be a hobo?
not up here, dude. It's too fucking cold. Maybe in Miami I could be a hobo. Just rough it out in Long Beach. I think that
Okay, that was more talking about your discipline. Do you think your discipline would ever allow you to be a hobo?
yeah. I don't think that my discipline has anything to do with living on the streets.
No, I feel like at some point, some people I feel like some hobos are just like
Like they just want to do
due
that.
to a lack of trying, or like
No.
also a lack of like not even just a lack.
Oh,
of,
do you think that like I would? Do you think that I would reach a point where like I would be so depressed that I wouldn't be able to like work or function?
Yeah. Some people are like that.
I don't know. I
Where
think
they,
it's
they get really super dependent on someone else to take care of them, and if that person's incapable of doing so, they just end up on the streets or like whatever.
I don't know. I might end up on the streets, but I think I'd be able to work. You know, you could be working and not have a home.
Tanner, I
Homes
would
are
give you
expensive.
$1. If I saw you in the street, I would give you $1.
I would
Would
not.
you really?
I would not.
Yeah, I would.
You-
And that means a lot because I never give money to homeless people.
Jeez,
So
man.
if I give it to you, that means you special.
That means he sees potential in you, kid.
Yeah.
I give money every once in a while.
Every once in a
But-
while.
What's your What's your worst hobo story? And I'll give you guys some time to think about it.
I can't
But I'll tell you a
Oh.
couple stories of hobo encounters I've had.
A couple.
A couple. I don't know why my luck in hobos are just like out of this world for some reason, some goddamn reason. This one time I just got back into Tallahassee and I'm like, I need some Blaze pizza. Shout out to Blaze Pizza. and I get in my car. I'm pulling out of my community, and the hobo's walking across the sidewalks to the other one, and he stops. He sees me, stops in front of my car. You know, does like he like kind of puts on the puppy dog eyes and like puts his hand out in a like cup form, and he's like, "Can I have some money?" My windows are up, so I have to like give a little like gesture. I'm like, "No, I don't know, man. I have nothing on me. I have nothing." And he gets upset. He's like, "Yeah? Yeah, well, I'm gonna fucking hump your car." And he starts humping my fucking headlight.
No.
And I got so, like, heated. And but I was so heated that I tried, like, opening my door, but I accidentally locked myself in. And then
That's pretty funny.
And then I open the window and I just yell out, like, "You fucking shit! I'll fucking kill you!" And then, but then I thought about it for a second. I'm like, if I hit this hobo, there's a possibility I contract, like, his blood gets on me, and I contract something like maybe like an illness that I'm just gonna regret. So, you know what? Fuck it. I looked both ways and then drove off, and I was like, "Fuck this guy. Fuck that guy. Fuck."
No
And then I saw him
way.
another time. I guess he didn't recognize me because he sees so many people every day. And he offered, like, I guess he was like braiding palm tree leaves or something. And he made a cross, and I'm like, "Fuck you, dude. No." And I was like, "You know what? I'll be the bigger person." And I gave him a penny. I put a fucking penny. It's like, I felt, for me, it felt more like I was, like when you tip a server who's had like really shitty service, you give them a penny or like something they'll know what you gave them, and it was because it was bad service. I gave him a fucking penny, and I was hoping he would think about that, but probably not.
He might even like it.
Another time though, we were at Tijuana Flats, and
Oh fuck.
you were there for that, Tanner, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so fill in any parts that I'm just like I forget. And we're all eating outside Tijuana, and this one homeless woman walks by, and she asked for
The
money.
problem wasn't even. Oh, the other guy was home. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. She walks by, asks for food or something. We just say we have no money or something, and then walks away. And then my table was talking about like, "Oh God, there has to be like something the government should do to help homeless people. Maybe as a society, what can we do to better ourselves?" And then they kind of drone on to like, the financial crisis of 2008 and like what that did to many Americans and all that. And it got really like kind of deep and like a lot of self-reflection as like Americans. So, as we think. And then I guess another homeless man sitting on the other side overheard us, walked over, and he's like, "I bet you guys $50 I know more about finance than you." And I'm like, we're all just kind of shocked. And I'm like, in my own head, I'm like, "I'm a finance major, you shit." And then I think Hannah, who was on the podcast before, was like, "No, you probably do. Thanks for coming to us and talking to us." And then he's just like, "That woman is homeless, and you guys didn't even bother to offer her your food while you guys are eating. You guys are talking about the crisis and everything, and you're not doing anything about helping that woman." And then I just I probably get the most upset, I think. So I'm just like calling him out, like, what gives you any right to call us out for not giving with this one homeless woman money or food? You don't know any of us. You don't know how much we've done, if we've done anything for homeless people in the past. Like, I'm not gonna try to brag, but it's a little bit of brag that I say, like, I've done a lot for homeless people. Like, I befriended a lot of homeless people, like especially in high school, where I just made sure to check up on them, offer them money. See, like, especially during Christmas time, I was giving out gifts, like I bought on my own from my job. And then like this guy doesn't know any of that shit, so I'm like, you have no right to call me out and say we're all terrible people for not giving this one homeless person food or money. And then he just starts going on further, explaining that, I sat here all day and I was begging for money, and with all that money, I just gave it to her. And then as he says that, you hear a little jingle in his pocket of all the change he has. And then Hannah calls him out. And she's like, "Oh yeah, but what's that in your pocket then?" He ignores her completely, but I bet he heard it, and we're just like, this fucking guy. And and then eventually it just droned on a little bit. We were just constant arguing about morals and values and whatever, and then we're just like, thank you, and he as he continues to try to talk, we're just like, thank you, and he just walks away. And like those sort of encounters just give me like kind of makes me generalize the whole like homeless people. So I really don't give money to homeless people anymore, like because of all those like bad instances. Like, why should I give these people money if they're not willing to appreciate it or be grateful or even show any sort of like I don't know, humility.
That was crazy. I was not expecting stories like that.
I don't know
I've had
why. I
nothing
don't know
serious
why I
like that.
have fucking weird homeless people encounters, but I do.
Wow.
Maybe
that's
I
a
just
special sixth sense that you
I'm
have.
just
you
a
know?
homeless magnet.
Yes, the homeless whisperer. Just whisper in their
You know
ear.
they speak English.
Oh shit! You're like trying to assign to them, so disrespectful.
They have like their own homeless people language, and I can understand. Only the I can understand it. So but nothing for either of you guys. You guys never dealt with homeless people in any sort
No.
of weird or angry fashion.
I really haven't, which I'm shocked. I feel like I should have,
Yeah, you're
especially
from
in the
Panama
area
City.
I grew up in.
Yeah.
I grew up in Panama City, and there was a lot of homeless people, but I just never had that interaction.
Tanner, of all people, you?
Nah, when I encounter homeless people, I mean, for the most part, I probably don't give them money more often than I do give them money, but I try to give them money every once in a while. I think it's just a nice thing to do. But
When you're feeling generous that day, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I don't think you should generalize them over those like 2 or 3 bad encounters you've had, though. I think that's a little bit wrong.
Well,
But I mean, it's your money, so you get to do whatever you
it's
want.
all about like experience. So like I can understand I try to understand like different like perspectives of different people. Like I could see why black people may not like this white people given like all these personal experience that they had. I could understand the opposite side too, why white people may not like black people given their experiences. I'm just because I understand it doesn't mean like I think it's right or like we should accept it as that. But it's just like I feel like you have to understand perspective.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But I think that if you understand that you have to understand perspective, then you should understand that perspectives come from all different angles. Like
Yeah.
you can't like the one perspective of just blacks versus whites. It's so much deeper than just blacks versus
Oh,
whites.
I
You
know.
have
I
to go
was just giving
deeper
a
and
really
deeper.
general example.
Right, but okay, so if we're gonna talk about our current situation about homeless people, you have to go a little bit deeper than that. Like not every homeless person, begs. You know that, right? There's a lot of homeless people with jobs. The cost of affordable housing in a lot of areas is much more than what minimum wage can supply you with. Like I know, I just heard recently. I
It's
think
not
it's
a living
somewhere.
wage you're saying?
What do you mean? Like minimum? Yeah, minimum wage is not livable. Like okay, so I think it was somewhere in New Jersey or something like that. Like one of the places, you'd have to work 80 hours a week. I think more than 80 hours a week on minimum wage to afford like a small housing, like a one person, just for yourself. And I think that's ridiculous. Like, how the fuck are you expected to do that kind of shit?
I mean,
So the fact that there's a lot of homeless people, I know you like to blame a lot of things on like personal character. Like if you're in a situation, it's because you as a person were not able to bring yourself out of that position. I think that, and that goes, I guess, a little towards like meritocracy, like which I kind of agree with, but I think that you do have to take on, you do have to accept that there's a lot of like external factors that'll just kind of fuck you up.
Yeah, there's some things that are out of your control.
I think that there's a lot more things out of a person's control than you might think.
But I
or
also
that you
think
might agree with.
Do you think? But which side do you lean more on? Do you think there's more external factors or there are
Yeah,
more
I think there's more
internal?
external factors.
Wow.
That's where I yeah, that's where I like disagree. I feel like
Because I mean, and this goes back to like I think that a lot of what we are and who we are isn't decided by us, and like the thing and the positions that we're put into aren't decided by us.
you
You know?
think it's all like kind of
It's
predetermined.
all
Then?
predetermined.
Yeah, I mean,
I like.
I don't want to use the word predetermined,
It
but yeah,
sounds
it's
like
determined.
you're defining it as predetermined. Saying
Like when you,
definition of
it's
predetermined.
determined, yeah. But when you say like predetermined, it makes it sound like there's like somebody that like set some
So
controls or something like
who
that.
is
But
set or what is
I
setting it?
don't believe that anybody set any controls. That's the thing. I don't believe in a god.
Okay, well,
So
then what do you think is
it doesn't
setting?
have to be a god
Yeah.
to be predetermined.
or some. I don't think that it's some sort of omniscient
So
power.
what are you
No, it
saying
doesn't have to
that?
be omniscient either.
So what are you
Yeah,
saying?
but so then if I don't, I think that things are just determined. I don't think that it was
Well,
set by.
what is determining that?
Isn't
Has
determined
to
mean set? Determined is the same thing as set, right?
determine means
Yeah, but I'm
something has to
saying
determine that.
Okay, so I think that there are like some sort of set of rules that exist. I don't think that they were necessarily. I don't know. I don't claim to. I don't have any reason for like what caused these rules to come into place or why they're
Why they're-
applied to our universe. But I think that there are certain rules, like the rules of nature, like the laws of gravity, like
Yeah.
things like that. I think that when you take into account all those rules,
Mhm.
things just happen in a certain order. And if they didn't, then our lives would be so much harder. Like if these rules weren't in place, like we wouldn't be able to predict anything. We would have no control over what we would be able to do because everything would just be kind of happening randomly. But I think that the way that the rules are set is in such a way that you can't really live outside of those rules. And those rules kind of define how you live. You don't define how you live.
Really? So you don't think like scientific laws like gravity can coexist like human decision? You think human decision comes from these scientific laws first?
Yeah, I think that our decisions, yeah.
Wait, what? You think all our lives
I don't think
are just
I think
based
that our
on
decisions
science?
just
So things like he's saying things like
just based on
gravity, physics, or like the way blood flows in our body, like all determines like
all the things,
kind of
all
what
the
we do.
conditions that exist in the laws of nature. Like the conditions meaning like where you're geographically located or like the weather and all these things that are just happen around you.
So I guess like you're saying you're being the nature versus nurture thing. You think it's all nature?
No, it's both.
It's like
It's both
or-
nature and nurture. Nurture are the conditions. Nature is the laws of nature.
and that you think that kind of determines what you become as a person or like where you end up.
Both.
I feel like
And you don't really control what you get to become. You just become whatever
I
nature
can
and
see
nurture
that
allows
side.
you to
I
be.
see that side, but I like to think that like
Yeah, you
all
like to
my-
think you have control.
all my decisions. I mean, it would be kind of sad to live life knowing that nothing you do has kind of like has meaning or like was not your own personal choice.
What kind of meaning do you think that your actions have?
I feel like if you because you're yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take a step back because I like the idea that not even just that I
You
like
feel comfort in that idea?
No, I feel like I subscribe to the idea that the decisions you make are on you.
Because it comforts you.
Not even necessarily comforts me, but like it
It empowers you. It makes you feel like what I'm doing has meaning. It has
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah, and
okay,
also
maybe that's one of the reasons. But
that could be.
keep
Yeah,
going.
I'll say that's one of the reasons. I'll also say like even like the bad decisions I make, the ones that like kind of fuck me up. I know like I'm not gonna blame someone else for my struggle.
I don't think that you should blame anybody else for your problems either. And I think that you should own the things that you do.
But how
too.
can you own the things that you do if
Yeah.
if you're able to blame
You don't have
my
control
nature
over
and nurture?
Because it's the right thing to do. Because it's how it's the best way to proceed.
How can
Yes.
how can there be something such as like right or wrong when it's like determined,
I mean,
Um,
I think right and wrong is kind of
Because-
determined, right?
when you think about, yeah, right and wrong kind of is determined. But when you think about like, so for example, yeah, the way that I think about it is, so I guess like if you're gonna talk about ethics, like it comes into like what's right and wrong
Mhm.
is basically just what's good for having a society. Like what's good for society, what
Oh, you
allows,
define it like
because
that.
as I mean as animals, like
Don't call me
we
an
like
animal.
to we like to exist. We like to further our
We like
existence.
to
I don't know.
live.
I don't know how to explain,
We like
but
to be alive.
we are like our species. We want to we want our species to continue, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
the only way, and so instinctually, the only way for us um to
To survive or to thrive is to like kill murderers, right? Punish murder.
is, well, yeah, is
You
to
just cut
have
out
like some
short.
sort of rules and some
Oh.
sort of structure, you know. And so these rules and these structures are only just like the ideas that we have about what's right and wrong and stuff like that. Those are all just kind of like that just comes from nature. Like it's only natural for for our species to want to survive. That's why like ants work together and do shit. That's why
Well,
animals.
I think it's an
work together and do shit.
evolutionary like objective to want further your species and stay alive.
Exactly. So it's just biologically defined in us to do good things, and then eventually, and sometimes we have bad people that do bad things.
Wait, okay. Is this trying to answer?
Sometimes.
Is this answering the question about how
No,
like what is it? What question are you were you trying to answer?
the reason we're talking about this right now is we were talking about like right or wrong.
Like when you make right or wrong decisions, you
Yeah.
feel like you're
And
doing.
Tanner was specifying that right or wrong is not necessarily like
I'm
good
just
or
saying
evil. It's more like what is good for society to grow and thrive.
So yeah, it's just a product of like nature,
Survival. Yeah.
I do
yeah,
believe that.
animal instincts.
I do.
So
believe
and all the things that you do are just.
But some don't you think some animal instincts are kind of like dangerous though? But we still punish it.
What?
Some animal instincts are kind of bad and evil.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
think Tanner agreed with that. Yeah.
No,
He was
but
saying like,
are we punishing ourselves for having these?
Yeah, we do like killing.
But should we? Should we?
so I remember now. I
we?
remember
Yeah,
a really
we
good,
should.
a really good quote about what Tanner's talking about. This guy, he was caught stealing or something long ago, and then they like locked him up and started getting him ready to get like flogged and like punished or whatever.
Flogged. Jeez.
Yeah, and then that criminal, he started arguing, "It's not my fault. I was predetermined to steal this stuff."
I
And
feel
then
like
the
something
guy
Tanner
that
would
was about
say.
to flog him said, "And you were predetermined to be flogged as well." Yeah, and I was like,
I'd agree.
"Shiz."
Yeah, but I mean I'm just saying like
Do you not? Okay, so you guys don't think that the world is determined?
I think I don't.
So I
Go
believe
ahead.
in a mix, and a lot of people disagree with this. I understand there's like
It's
constant
very
dispute.
lukewarm, but I'm just
But-
kidding, but it makes sense.
So I think that humans have this amazing ability compared to like all other animals of like this higher level of thinking, right? And you can use that to like make your own decisions. However, there is still predeterministic elements in life. Like, yes, I can be born in Florida, grow up in this area, and grow up with this group of friends, and I may be more likely to move to this high school to be with my friends, but I still have the final button push to be like, you know what, I want to go to this other high school. I probably won't go to the other high school, but I can make that decision if I want to.
But in Tanner's eyes, is saying like you already thinking about having that decision was already determined, and it was already determined that you were not going to make that decision and stay at the same school.
Yeah. So yeah, he's saying like I'm already going to go ahead and go to school.
Yeah.
I'm eluded by the fact like I feel like I have the choice, but I really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just like an argument of like of your own like philosophy, like what you should believe in yourself. I don't think there is a right or wrong answer. Whether or not,
And I don't necessarily think there's a right or wrong answer, but I don't think that you should think that you should. I don't think
you think at all.
I don't think that thinking that you have free will, or thinking that your choices have some sort of wanting to have free will because it makes you feel like your life has more meaning and stuff like that. I think that that's bullshit. I don't think that you should want free will for that reason.
Yeah. So I think that it's okay to believe in free will, but your reason has to be like better than just because I want that to be real, right? Or like
sure, yeah,
it makes me feel good.
But at the same time, like I do think that people thinking that they have free will is better because it makes them want to own their actions more. So people like Jason, like having numbnuts like him, thinking that I'm just kidding. No, but I do think
Numbnuts.
I think that yeah, I don't know.
You
But
No, no.
to think that the world isn't determined is kind of
ignorant or just like being naive?
it's a little bit silly just because like it's how we base pretty much everything. Like our science is based on determinism. Everything that we know is based on determinism, or else we wouldn't be able to like say that tomorrow or like the weather, we wouldn't be able to like have calculation of the weather. We have calculations on all these things because we know that things happen in a certain fashion.
I
It's
think
like
I think
there's these
humans
coded in.
I think humans find comfort in knowing that what's going to happen next.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
maybe I feel like maybe that's what you're kind of alluding to, and maybe that's why you think like determinism is kind of like the better way of thinking. Is that what you said?
Sure. I mean, I think that like having
That's
like
one.
an indeterministic world would
Yeah.
be chaotic because,
Mhm.
say, for example, we knew that every time you mixed mercury and hydrogen, you got some sort of like you got infinite energy or something like that. That would be great. But like in an indeterministic world, say that one or like
Mhm.
by random chance, like it could just explode and destroy the whole world. Just because the world is indeterministic and things
So
don't happen.
I feel like that's
I
a
mean-
little
in a
too
determined fashion.
one-dimensional.
I-
So
yeah,
like that's
could-
like science, right? That's just science. Like two always or water plus this will always
Okay,
equal
so
this. But I
if
feel
you
like when
want
it
to,
comes to human
Because
decisions,
I also
that's
thought
different.
about
if you want to talk about human, go ahead.
I also thought like with that example, it's like is it kind of determined already that we know this and this will explode and
No,
this
but
and-
okay, like let's say something that we do know for sure. Like if you pour hot water and tea together, you're gonna get
Yeah.
hot tea. But in an indeterministic world, that could be fucking lava and it just explodes.
No,
Like
I agree with that. That would be chaotic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be what an indeterministic world would be.
So I mean,
I imagine.
I feel like things are only this or
I
that.
think that's two extremes, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
I
the
think you
whole.
can have a world where the scientific constants are real, the gravity is the same, speed of light's the same. That's fine, but you can also have that human higher level of thinking that like bypasses.
So you think that
determined
human-
logic. Yeah.
We have
Human
free
thinking
willed
is the
people.
only-
Free willed people are living in a determinate world.
Yeah. So I mean, we're bound in this
A
world that's
determined
bound
world.
by all these scientific laws. I agree in, but I think, and we witness this all the time. So many inexplainable like human actions and thoughts occur every day, like every second, that like defy like what we know about science. I feel
What do you mean
And
by
some of it-
inexplainable human actions?
like all these unexpected things. We expect this person to do this. Heck no, that they just did this. We're like, what the heck was that?
I think that you just didn't understand that person fully.
Really? I mean,
Yeah.
but there's even experts, like the very people who like invented science or like make science better every day. Like,
Okay,
they're
I'll
all-
give you an example. I would have never expected Jason to have done that for what he said he did back in high school. I would have never expected that. But that doesn't mean that that was some sort of random chance or something, or that it was like, if I had known Jason better and if I had known his character better, then it would have been expected. Is what I'm trying to say.
Mm.
We only think it's unexpected because we don't understand. We don't understand the situation fully.
You don't understand 100%. Okay.
Yeah, or you don't understand a person's thinking. Like, okay, so if I one day go up and go to China, or let's say I go to Kazakhstan, right?
Yeah.
It's not that wouldn't be random.
love it.
Like it would have been something that
That's been happening for a long
there
time.
were
You're
some
thinking
seeds
about
in
it.
my head. Yeah, like
think about it in your head,
you watch
you're saying,
Borat like 10
whether
years
it's
ago.
consciously or subconsciously, like there's things that are going on in people's heads that people are unaware of, and that's
You don't
where I
think
get
there's any chance of a random act?
No, not really. No,
Wow.
I think that everything. Yeah. What do you mean by random? If you mean by random, like out of normal character, yeah, sure, that happens all the time. That people do things that they don't always do.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's random. I think that
Well, what about people who are incapable of conscious thought?
Oh, like people in a coma, or what do you mean? Like,
Like
people
okay,
in comas.
maybe
have
like people
conscious
at,
thought.
like
I think
on some
I think that is.
spectrums of autism
Okay, what about them?
where they aren't really capable of, I guess, thinking. Maybe I don't know if exactly too much about autism, but I think like from my perspective, it's like they can't think properly.
That's not what it is.
Maybe I'm
if
talking.
They-
about...
anything, If
mental
anything, what you
retardation.
bringing that up is like harder to justify because like isn't autism like very explainable? Like,
Okay,
via
well,
science?
maybe I'm not talking about autism because autism is kind of like social. I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
very
Um,
much a social
well,
way.
I will say it to like maybe mental retardation, where there is actually something genetically wrong with them, and I feel like
What do you mean
That's
by
just
mentally? What do you mean by mental retardation? Like
they
that's
have
a very
they
broad,
have an extra
very broad field.
chromosome. They have an extra chromosome.
That's its own thing. That's Down syndrome. That's not
Down
mental
syndrome.
retardation.
Okay. Well,
sure. Then just choose that one.
listen. We're not arguing semantics here. Point.
Yeah, but if you're gonna talk, okay, go ahead.
Okay. Down syndrome. My apologies, Tanner. You and your.
I'm not asking you to be politically correct. I'm saying that mental retardation is a very broad.
Yeah, that's what I had to
area.
use something broad because I forgot the word.
Okay, go ahead. So
Down syndrome. I feel like some people with Down syndrome are incapable of like, appropriate thought. I guess.
I
you're
don't, I
trying to say it
don't,
could be
I don't
random?
know. Okay,
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
just gonna
I
say
we,
this.
I won't.
don't
I
know
won't.
enough
We won't
about.
generalize it to like a disease or like a mental handicap. We'll just say someone who is incapable of thought.
Incapable. Well, but what are you trying to say about that? Like, what are you going with?
Can they do a random act?
Um,
No,
I feel like
okay.
no. I feel like their chance of doing a random act, the lower their intelligence or like cognitive thinking.
No, because no. I
Think
feel like,
about okay. So you think that okay. So I think the idea is that what makes humans special is that they can think, right?
and then
Well,
let's
okay. So if
eliminate
you
that
want to
part.
talk about a human that can't think, then what else can't think? Oh, right. Most other animals, right?
Yeah.
So does an otter do random acts? I don't know. Probably not. So would a human that can't think do random
Yeah,
acts?
exactly.
I
So
don't know.
this whole
Probably not.
example of like a slower human being, you could have just said any animal, right?
I just I don't I try not to assume humans are animals because we are all a better species. I
don't
like
know.
to
I
think
just
highly of ourselves.
yeah. I think that when it comes to like saying that, oh, my life doesn't have meaning because I don't have choice over my actions or something like that.
Uh-huh.
I don't
think
think
that's-
my life doesn't have meaning, and I just feel like
Do you think that your life would have less meaning if you knew that the world was determined and that you
Think
didn't?
It would.
it would because it would make me not want
I
to do
think-
anything. Kind of.
Number one, I think that's just I think that's pretty sad. And number two, I think that when you think about it, everything that has happened in the billions, or I don't know how old the universe is, but all those cause and effect reactions that pushed one particle one way or another, and it all led up to your existence. So there are millions and millions of years of actions that took place just to culminate into what you are now.
Uh-huh.
And if that doesn't give your life meaning, like all these things that had to happen in these
Oh.
specific ways just to make you I wouldn't say that it did it to make you the way you are, but it did it and it made you the way you are.
Okay.
That,
You're saying
that
that's
in
already
of
like pretty
itself.
awesome, right? Like that should.
I
Be
would
enough.
say that like that's a
I
lot
should be
of
I
meaning
should
in
be
itself.
kind of proud of
You should be
myself.
grateful.
I should
But
be.
this is you just
Yeah.
I feel like this is just people trying to assign meaning to things that don't need it or don't have it. That just like when like for me this is no different than people saying that things happen for a reason. God did this for me for this to happen,
No, and
like or God gave me a hard
hate
time.
when people. I hate when people.
Yeah, I know,
kinda-
but this is how I feel about you saying that. Oh, if I don't have free will, then my life has less meaning. That's
Oh,
how I
drawing
feel.
that
right
similarity.
now, but right now, as my personality is that I'm not gonna blame an outside source that I can't. That's like kind of it's too external for me to really blame. So right now, as
Yeah,
a person,
but then
I'm already living a
You're
life
giving
where
yourself too much credit, dude. You're giving yourself too much credit, and you're giving people too much credit. Like you don't have that power. You don't have that kind of power. You think you do, but you don't.
Oh, in terms of like assigning blame or credit, right?
Yeah.
So let's say Jason does a bad action.
All of your success isn't really because of you. Isn't really because of just you. Or 99 is not you. 99% is not you.
So I mean, so you think
And
it
all
should
of your
be a
failures
mix?
likewise, like
I just don't like assigning blame for anything or giving credit.
and you shouldn't assign blame to other people
Ever.
for
Is that what you're
for
saying?
things
Ever?
like that. But I think it's kind of contradictory, but you should understand that, the things that
I just
The
feel
things
like
that
you
you
can't
do
subscribe. I feel
are
like
direct. Like
you
you
can't
have a
subscribe to
direct.
both. I feel like you can't.
Listen.
Listen.
You have
I can't even see your
things.
fucking face, but okay.
You do cause like your existence causes direct action or has direct effects on the things around you, right?
Oh yeah.
But I
But
feel like you're saying one thing and then the other, and saying
I
like,
know that's why I'm saying that it is a little bit contradictory. So yes, but but you doing those things that have direct actions that have direct effects on the things around you aren't because of you. It's because of other things that had direct effects on you. You know, so it's just this chain
It's a
reaction. It's a
cycle.
constant
Like a
chain
circle.
of reactions just happening.
but I even with that idea, I don't understand why you kind of look down on people for thinking this certain way versus your way.
Yeah. Can you compare this
It's
view
not
to
that-
the religious
I mean,
view? Again?
you literally just said, I think it's sad that you think you have free will.
No, I think it's sad that you think that your life has less meaning if you don't.
Okay, well that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's sad. I think it's sad that you
I-
think that you have to
So
have some sort
you
of
are
control
looking down on
to
people who
have.
I feel that then
I'm
you
not
are,
looking down on people that think that they have
you
free
say
will.
this
think
and
that it's
I
possible-
determine this.
What?
You say this, and I'm from that. I took this out of it, and it's the fact that
Okay.
you think people who believe free will.
Okay, then I'm gonna clarify. I don't think that people that think that they have free will. I don't think that that's sad. It could be possible that there is free will, and I'm wrong. Like I'm not gonna go ahead and just say that I'm right. You know,
Oh, you sound
this
like
is
you are.
just these are the things that, as the way that I understand the world, this is what I believe. I think that it's sad that you think that if you don't have free will, that your life has less meaning. I think that that's sad.
I mean, do you think everyone do you think it comes with that that philosophy that I think like that, or you think it's just kind of more personal to me?
I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of other people that think that too.
So you can't.
I think that what?
Would you generalize like the whole?
No, I wouldn't generalize the whole.
Would you say like typically?
I don't know. I think that a lot of religious people might.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't
It's
think.
easy to
I don't.
upset, like-
I've always thought religious people don't believe in free will.
They do. God gave them free will.
It's
What?
not free will if God gave it to you.
It is. Well, that's what they believe. They believe they have free will, and they believe that God gave them free
Well,
will.
I think that's
Unless
dumb.
you're a Calvinist, and if you're a Calvinist, then you believe in predetermined. You're going to hell or you're going to heaven.
Oh
But-
yeah.
So you can do whatever the fuck you want.
But yeah, that's why I think that I associate your position with like religious thought, because like it's this thought that like our life doesn't have meaning unless
But I feel like
know,
it's
there's
not. It's
something-
We're out
literally- I
here to
think
find it.
It's literally the opposite of religious thought,
no, you're wrong.
Explain.
because of the fact that I don't believe that something is determining my decisions. I think where it's all based on like yourself.
The
Isn't that
religious
the-
people don't believe that something's determining their decisions either. They believe they have free will.
Who?
That's what I just said. Religious
Yeah,
people.
religious people believe they have free will. Most of them, I would say.
They believe the same thing you do.
Talking
Yeah,
about
but I
Christianity.
don't believe them because they believe a God gave them free will, so it cancels out the whole point of them having free will.
You can be.
Wait. I don't see how
If
God-
you are given free will, then you do not have free will.
That doesn't make any sense.
That-
you
why
can still
though?
have free will
No,
if
because
somebody gives it to you.
No, because the fact that it was given to you. That's not the whole point of it's what free will is. Free
They
will
give
is
it
not
for
given
free.
to you. Free will can't be given because that's all on you. You decide whether or not you have free will.
Yeah, but think about it from a religious perspective.
Then everybody has free will.
God made everything, so He has to give. He gave them.
That's
everything.
why I'm saying, and that's why I'm saying it's impossible for you to have free
Oh,
will
never mind,
if God gave it to you.
If you can choose to have free will,
You just
then-
said God created everything, so God created free will. So doesn't
Yeah.
Hey, God
Yeah, but I
can
don't
do
see
it.
like if He made free will, why is it no longer free will? Like, why is it?
because the fact that it's given to you, it has to come naturally. And if you say
But
God
why
is,
does it have? You're saying it has to, but why does it have to?
because that's like the kind of the definition of free will.
What do you define free will as?
I don't have the proper definition. Listen, I'm not.
But give us what your understanding of it is, because I think that's where a lot of that's why a lot of discussions just kind of fall flat, because people have two different ideas of what they're talking about, so they never reach
What's
this.
the difference if I gave Jason a car and he can drive anywhere he wants, whereas he builds his own car and then drives anywhere? I feel like it doesn't matter where it came from, just the fact that you can use it. You can use the car.
I don't know about that example. I don't know if that's like.
I think that's literally
that
the
does-
exact same thing.
No, I
Free
don't-
will is like a vehicle or like a way of thinking, right?
I don't know because it's not supposed to be a way of thinking. It's supposed to be just how things are. It's just how life works. It's not
How
about think.
life
It's not about thinking. It's about like
Free will is all about decisions, the decisions you make.
yeah, but like it's.
Okay, hold on. Let's just stop. Let's stop. What do you guys think free will is?
I'll go. Okay, we'll start from Troy. Gives you
just-
time to think about it.
Here, the ability to make a decision. Well, not just any decision, but from a multitude of decisions. Rather, like there's not only just one that you can choose. Like you could choose this or you could choose this. Yeah. I'll start with that for now.
All right, Tanner.
I think I understand free will to be the having an option, being able to choose between two or more things, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
But if it's an illusion and you think that you have the ability to choose between two things, I don't think that you have free will. And that's, yeah. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
I would say it's the ability to like act without necessity or fate, or like kind of like without constraint of necessity.
Well,
Really? So if I hold a gun to your head, like it's no longer free will. You can still choose to try to fight me back.
No, but I didn't. What do you mean? I didn't say like.
that's necessity. Like, I mean, well,
Yeah.
it depends on what you define
Danger.
necessity as. Like, if you think of your own survival as necessity, then yeah, you would subscribe
Okay,
to the thought that you don't have free will.
let me use
if
a simpler definition. I would say
Yeah.
like acting on your own discretion.
Acting on your own discretion.
What does that mean?
That's still, yeah.
To act on one's own discretion.
On your own personal like thought, I guess.
So to act based on your own constitution, right?
Yes.
Like, yeah. Well, what if like your whole constitution is just
It's
based
already
on
determined.
on like all the things that are around you and your past? Like, you didn't choose to be Asian, you didn't choose to grow up in
You
Miami,
bet?
but all those things that you didn't choose to be really had a big impact on what your character is today.
Oh, for sure. I
Right?
didn't choose to be Asian, but I used chopsticks.
Sure, you just cut out.
Oh, so I mean Tanner's right. I didn't choose to be Asian, but I use chopsticks a ton, and I like eating a lot of like rice and noodles and stuff like that. And I don't know if it would be like that if I wasn't born Asian. So,
You probably wouldn't be. Probably
Yeah.
like bland chicken and
yeah, bland chicken breast,
chicken
specifically.
breast and broccoli.
Yeah,
It's probably what. Actually, I eat that a lot.
yeah. So do you change your definition, Jason, or do you?
No, I still think it's like acting on your own, without any sort of like. I mean, given all your like all the factors over everything you know, given what you have, you can make a conscious decision out of that.
Can make
Yeah, but
a
the
conscious
things that you
decision.
know, the things that you understand, and the things that you come to believe.
Listen,
Well, the
I
things you need to
I
decide.
believe we live in a determined world, like you say, but we're free. But we, as humans, are free. Have free.
There's a
will.
lot of people that agree with you too, but I think I just disagree with that position. But I don't think that you have.
Or
the
we
right
can all
reasoning.
disagree all we want, but
I think that I think there's a lot of people that believe that, but I think you have the wrong reasons.
Oh, I see what he's saying. Shoot. What do you think is the wrong reasons, Tanner?
Because he has no reason. It's just because
then
it's
there you
because he
go.
wants it to be. It's because he wants
that's
it.
my free will. That's
It's
my
because
free will making that
It's the
decision.
same thing.
'Cause
It's the same thing with religion, dude. People want there to be a God because it gives their life meaning and because it makes them feel like, I'll be able to see my
are
loved
you
one
not
after I die.
not using determinism as your crutch then?
How so?
So like since everything is determined for you, you don't really have to put much.
Low accountability.
Yeah,
right?
low accountability.
No, I don't. In fact, the opposite. I hold myself highly accountable.
But
for
maybe
what I
that's
do.
just you as a person. But I don't. Cause that doesn't make sense. 'Cause
I'm not
if-
saying that this is what all. I'm not trying to impose my thoughts on
No, that's fine.
what everybody else should believe.
I
I don't
mean, we
think.
clearly
I think
understood
that
that
it would be
part.
good for society to believe that they have free will
Mhm.
because of the fact that by doing so, they think that hold themselves accountable. But if you can think beyond that and hold yourself accountable, even without the notion of free will, then I think that
You think
it
that's
accomplishes the
you,
same
you
thing.
ever seen that meme of just like the thought, and then at the it's like different levels of thought, and the last one is just like the world blew up in your mind.
Yeah.
Is that what
The
you're
world?
trying to? It sounds exactly what you're like, kind of
Hey,
like.
hey, Tanner.
I'm
I
just
have a
saying
question.
that you could accomplish the same thing
Mhm.
either way, and one makes. Okay, I don't know. Go ahead. What were you gonna say, Troy?
Tanner, I have a question. If there is just determinism, what is the point of holding yourself accountable then? Like you said, you believe in this determinism, yet you
Yeah.
still hold yourself accountable.
I
You
think
don't have to, right?
for morality, for the point of
Morality,
having, and when I say morality, I mean like I
the
think it's
societal version.
for the point of having like being able, by doing so, you do it for a reason. You act morally and you do good things and you hold yourself accountable for a reason. And the reason is because you want to live in a safe society.
Okay, societal reason of
Yeah.
morality. Okay.
And if you know that if you act in this way, and it all comes down to like the social contract. You act in a certain way, you behave because you agree with everybody else. Everybody else is going to behave.
Yeah.
And that way we're not having to worry about where our next meal is going to come from or
Okay.
if we're going to have shelter over.
Okay, I get it now. It was a little confusing at first. So
Yeah.
even though a deterministic world would not need accountability, accountability is already determined and you can't fight it anyway. You're already going to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, because
You
we're
can't hurt
we're
yourself.
Are we
animals.
determined to be accountable?
Yeah,
No.
that's
I mean, yeah.
very possibly. Very possibly.
I mean, if you don't hold yourself accountable, then I mean, you don't. That's just
And
that.
you were determined to not be accountable.
God, I fucking hate that so much.
Why do you hate it, Jason?
It's just like putting blame on anything but yourself.
So you don't.
Blame.
So you just hate people that don't hold themselves accountable.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, that's basically it. I feel like everyone should hold themselves accountable.
Yeah, but I think, and I guess this goes back all the way to the beginning of our conversation, but I think that you have to understand that, yeah, you should hold yourself accountable, but you should also understand that there's a lot of things that are beyond a person's control to make them the way that they are.
So when
Like,
Jason
for example,
tries to pass judgment on someone, right? He
Yeah.
can't because he doesn't know everything. So he should just not judge them, right?
Was that
Yeah.
about hobos, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand what like their family life was like. You don't understand what.
And that hobo didn't understand all the stuff you did and you offended that.
Troy, you're cutting out again.
Oh, sorry. What I was gonna say is just like how that hobo was judging you, even though he didn't know everything about you, what you've done.
Oh, and then
You're judging
now
him.
I'm just a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Actually, wow,
Yeah.
that's actually a little bit eye opening.
Crazy how life be like that.
I should not judge the
That's
next hobo
why-
based on this hobo, and he judged
That's why
me
I don't
based
think
on-
you should generalize. I think that generalizing is. I mean, it's useful for a lot of like primal things, but I think
Like studies.
when it gets to when we're at a level where we have the liberty or like the leisure to think and to
Mhm.
think things out, there's really there's no necessity to generalize. Like it's no longer.
no businesses
needed it
have
when
to
you were-
generalize.
we
You
should
needed it when you were a
generalize a bit.
caveman.
We should
No,
we should know this plant is dangerous, and all plants that look like it probably should not be.
Well, that's
Okay.
just science then. That's not generalizing.
Right,
That is
but see,
generalizing.
like we should. Damn.
General.
Fuck,
I
lost my
mean,
train of thought.
generalize is not like stuck to one like. one thing.
Generalizing is a primal instinct.
Mhm.
That's what it is. You did it when you were a caveman to know that you shouldn't eat this plant. But now that we have the luxury of time and science and all this technology, we don't
Yeah.
need to generalize anymore.
So that's the
take
fine
the
line.
time to find out what the truth is instead of generalizing what the truth is.
Oh, so I take it back then. I was gonna say businesses have to generalize in order to like appease like the most people with this certain product or design. But in fact, there's a lot of science and like studies.
They don't
behind it,
have
right?
to, but you'll see that a lot of businesses do generalize.
Oh, anyway, yeah.
And it's not even that generalizing leads you to the wrong answer all the time. In fact, a lot of times it might lead you to the right answer.
Yeah, it could
That's
be right.
why, it survived as an instinct, as a primal.
We're here now.
But
All the way to here.
But what I'm saying is that now that we're so far advanced, like it's
Yeah.
not necessary to do it for a lot of the cases that we do it.
Okay. Very good.
Is generalizing the same thing as profiling?
I think
Yeah, it is.
so.
You know, that was the thing. Like, I think
Yeah.
New York City had like a whole like kind of mandate with their police force where they were allowed to like profile. So they like
What?
stopped. A lot of times they were stopping random black people because that was
Oh.
how they profiled people.
If
And
Yeah.
then in doing so they were able to stop crime by a certain percentage. But
like it actually worked.
like
that
it actually
generalization.
it actually worked, like Tanner said, like, you know, generalizing does work to a certain extent. But then
Yeah,
you start questioning, like, you know, morals, like are you even
Yeah,
allowed
that's
to like
tricky. Oh
you
shit.
have to think about like what's the cost of
Yeah,
generalizing.
cost and
Like so,
reward. Yeah.
think about it as in so there's this the false positive thing.
Mhm.
I forgot what it's called, but like if you say you have
is it the
Tanner, put it in
correlation is
terms-
not
No,
causation?
No, Tanner. Put it in
No.
terms of like a crazy judge court case. If this guy gets guilty, he's gonna get the death penalty.
yeah, I mean, yeah, so well, I guess that speaks for itself, but like if you think about all the people that you know get falsely accused, was it worth it for one, like, okay,
Yeah.
was it worth it for that one innocent guy to go to prison for
But you
pretty
sent
much
100
for
bad
what?
guys to jail. You know.
But you send 100 bad guys to jail? If you think that that you're okay with that, then
Yeah.
generalizing, I guess, you know, works for you. You think that
Not
it's a
gonna
good
lie, I
thing.
think I am okay with that, even though
don't-
that's
I don't.
rough if you're the one guy.
I don't think it's no.
You don't think it's what?
I don't think it's right. I don't think you should. I think
That one, yeah. What is it saying? Like, better to let
So you would
one
rather
innocent man go
have
free than
100 bad guys come out with that guy too?
it wouldn't be 100 bad guys. It would be
I'm
a
just-
lesser number, but
You may not know that. It could
But
be
I'm-
any number. I mean, we're just talking numbers. Like we're just pulling
Yeah,
numbers.
but I think it's dangerous to think like what if like these certain ideas are you know, especially when these certain ideas are better for society, especially when it infringes so hard on people.
on especially the
Yeah.
rights, the rights. Of
Yeah, the rights of people. Like
Uh-huh.
like perhaps okay. So China's
These God-given
undergoing-
rights.
these God-given rights. China has like this system where like they monitor all of their citizens and shit like that. Like
Yeah.
that might lead to
less crime.
pro-social, less crime and stuff like that. But is it good for society? Probably. I mean, is it
No.
good? Would you want to live in that? Probably not. Yeah.
That's some. Oh, that's nice.
I think who mentioned this earlier, like that you give an inch. I think that was Anthony during his on. You give an inch of privacy for a mile of security.
Security. Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends how many inches you want, how many miles.
6.
That's right.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
those are
man.
my thoughts.
So, Jason, you said you're not okay with the scenario where you jail 100 bad guys.
For the
What would
you cut out again?
So you're saying you would not be fine with that scenario where we jailed 100 bad guys, but we also had to jail one innocent guy as well. So what would you do instead?
I feel like you just have to live in that society where you have to be kind of 100%, like beyond a reasonable doubt this person is guilty.
Oh, wow.
I think
So you think unless there was 100% certainty this guy did the crime?
even though
Then
I'm
you're
pretty
not
sure
gonna
that's
jail
how
him.
it works, right?
What? No, I mean,
No, but like
and
like
we can
in
see a ton
court,
of-
like you don't. They say, oh god, this fucking I put fucking tiger balm on my pimple, and then now it's getting in my eye.
oh god.
But
all right.
typically in court, you don't sentence someone or like deem someone or like give the verdict on someone without having a reasonable doubt that they are guilty of this crime or not guilty.
I don't know if it truly works like that.
I'm sure it doesn't truly work because there have been many instances of innocent people being jailed. But
yeah.
I feel like at least we should strive for that. We should not strive.
Oh, I think they're striving for it for sure.
But I think like you're more okay with the fact that hey, one guy's gonna get fucked.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah,
You know,
but then I mean, if you're not okay with that, then that's pretty much doing nothing. So
No.
since we're never going to be 100% right on these bad guys, we're just not going to do anything.
No. You. I
No,
feel
but
you.
the thing is, like, we have the science. The point is that we have the science and technology now that we don't. Like, if we just invest a little bit more time and energy into it, like
Yeah.
we could.
Yeah, but until then, what are we going to do? Right?
I mean, I feel like you, at least you're still working on it. I feel like right now you're by saying that you're willing to give up one guy is saying you're okay with how things are, and you're not.
Oh,
Because even right now, Troy, like the ratio of false imprisonment to imprisonment is pretty damn low. Like we don't imprison a lot of people wrongly. I hope, But like when it does happen, I
Uh-huh.
feel like it kind of infuriates me.
Yeah.
Like when
Oh,
I
yeah.
hear that shit. But like in like if we were to go by how your thoughts are,
Uh-huh.
it'd be like, oh, it's okay. Like it's fine. It's just like one guy out of like the thousands of people
Yeah.
that we.
Okay,
He
so
made a
maybe I
sense.
worded that sentiment a little wrong. So yeah, that's horrible, but I still would rather have that than like not like doing anything.
But it's not an all or nothing thing.
Yeah.
Dude. It's not like if we don't do it, then
100 people get free or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Well,
it's about
if it's not
actively
if it's
working.
not like two extremes, then like I don't know.
I don't know where we're going with this either, but yeah,
So I mean, if it's not my way,
it's
it
the
also
highway.
can't really be your way, right? Well, I'm kind of lost. Like,
But our way was more kind of in line with we keep striving for 100%.
Yeah, we don't
oh
accept.
no, I agree with that too. I'm
But
not
hold
saying
on.
oh, we're done here.
But you
We
seem
don't
like
accept racial profile. Like, don't accept racial profiling,
Yeah.
even if it leads to more correct convictions. Don't
Uh-huh.
accept like racial profiling because
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah, I didn't say like we should stop improving. Like, oh, that's good enough.
No,
No,
but it
we
seemed
gotta
like
keep
you were also
going.
kind. You also sounded like you were okay with the idea that
Complacent.
Yeah.
complacent with the idea that
Okay, no.
one
I
person
take
can
that
go
back.
to
If
jail.
you felt like I was complacent, I'm definitely not complacent. I view it as a true reality based on the scientists we have now,
Cool.
right?
Okay, yeah.
Double
If
backing.
you were just naming how reality is, then yes, sure, that's how
Yeah,
it is.
that's how reality is. But we also have to still keep trying to be better. You know, which is
Oh yeah, Troy,
realistically,
you're
we
just
don't have 100%
backpedaling
yet.
now. Why don't you just say it? Why don't you just mean what you say?
What do you mean?
Why don't you just say what you mean and mean what you say? You think that one person deserves to go to jail? That one innocent man? And
Oh no.
I think you're just okay with it. Why don't you just say it, huh?
No, I guess I was just trying to say I'd rather have that than waiting for 100% every time for every case. Yeah, I mean we should strive for it for sure, but realistically, you can't just stop and wait. You have to do stuff.
Of course.
Yeah,
But I don't. I also
That's what I'm
don't
trying
think
to say.
giving up. No,
Would
back
you
to like the black
accept-
thing. I don't think you should give up individual liberties for secure that sort of or that level of security.
no, I'm not saying I'm voluntarily going to do it. I'm saying it's just going to happen.
No,
You
I'm just
can't
saying. I was just going back. I was just going back to like.
Whether it's gonna happen or not, it's not right.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
what we're trying to say, at
Oh.
least.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, that's why we have to keep getting better. It's not right.
So I mean, what are your thoughts on so the case that Jason brought up about New York and the profiling? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that was okay? It did lead to a lot. Like, let's say for example, I don't know the specifics on it.
Yeah,
But let's say it led to more
I'm going to
positive.
say even though so the ends don't justify the means actually. So even though you did reduce the crime, I think the way you did it sucked. How about that?
Okay,
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
I can agree with
And
that.
I think that's kind of the verdict.
that's what we're
for
getting
yeah.
at. Yeah.
I gotcha.
All right. On that note, guys, you want to end it right there?
Yeah, let's end it.
I love all people.
I don't know, Troy. I kind of get that weird vibe from you that you're just against that one innocent person, and you're just okay with sacrificing him.
I hate every one in 100 guys, by the way. That's random. Like my brain subconsciously counts for me while I'm not even paying attention, and it's like 95, 96, 99, 100, and then I just punch him in the face on the street. I'm like, okay, God, that felt good. Got that
God,
on my.
you're just the terrible person. Hey, I mean, you're just determined to be like that.
I gotta fight the 1%, like everyone wants to fight, right?
the 1%,
Yeah.
and it's just like all these like poor broken men.
Yeah.
Like, we're not the 1%.
To me, you are.
All right. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Check us out on our Instagram, IATT Podcast. Check out our Podbean, us on Spotify as well. And be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tanner, for roughing this out, even though you're a lazy fuck. But, appreciate you.
That's what I do.
No, it's not. All right. Thank you, everyone. Peace out.
Peace out.